Well, good morning, class. Yay, we're on our last 6 weeks. I was hoping we'd come back. So let's see what happens by the end of the 6 weeks. If not, just bear with me and try to keep up. I think I've reduced the assignment or the problems per assignment, so they're doable. And I haven't really figured out how many I'm going to give you for this assignment. Today it's just going to be one piece or one lesson, 11.10, lesson or homework 10. It has to do with spheres. So, in looking at this first page of your notes, you really only need to know the parts of the sphere and what you need to fill into the formula. For either volume or for surface area, you really only need the radius. So if you can figure out the radius, you should be able to figure out what either the volume or the surface area. So radius is the distance from the center to the edge of a circle. So any distance from the center of the circle straight to the wall, to any of the walls, that is your radius. Now, if I don't give you the radius, but I give you the diameter, well, the diameter's definition is simply the distance from one edge or wall of a circle to the other. But here's the important part. Passing through the center. So if you have a circle, here's your center. Your diameter can only be if it goes from one side to the other, passing through the center. Which also means that your radius is going to be half your diameter, always. So if I give you a diameter, if I give you the distance from one side of the wall to the other, you just have to cut that in two, and that's your radius. Boom, you already have your radius. Or if I'm asking for diameter, and I only give you the radius, well, you just double the radius, because that's what it is. Alright, so let's look at our problems. So we can explain this, and then if you have any questions on the assignment, go ahead and ask. Let me know what problems, and I'll try to make videos. We're going to do 2, maybe 3 lessons this week, and I think I've been doing that and turning in like 2 assignments per week. Not very hard assignments either. I think I've given you enough time to do all your other classwork. Alright, hold on. Let's see what we're going to do. Okay, let's focus on, let's go to well, I don't even think they're difficult, but let's go to number 2, simply because you're given a diameter rather than the straight out radius. This first section, it's asking for volume. So if it's asking for volume, we're looking at this equation, 4/3 pi r cubed. So I need to know this, the radius. So if I look at 33, well, my diameter equals 33. That means my radius has to be 33 divided by 2, which is 16.5. So if it's 16.5, then your equation is just going to be 4/3 pi times 16.5 to the third power. That's it. You plug it in. 16.5 times 16.5 times 16.5 gives you this. Then you multiply times pi. Again, if you don't have a scientific calculator, you can just use 3.14 for now. If that were the case for this problem, I'm going to tell you what your answer should be. This is using a scientific calculator, but if you were not to use a scientific calculator and just use a regular so you would have 4/3 times 3.14 times 16.5 to the third power. You would have 18,807.03 centimeters cubed. That would have been okay. $18,807. Forgot the zero. Sorry. So, moving on. We are now going to go into surface area. Again, surface area, simply, we go from the volume formula and we go to the surface area formula. We just need to know, what do we need to do? 4 pi r squared. Yay! So if our surface area is just 4 pi r squared, we need to find, again, the radius. So we look at number 4. Let's look at number 4 because number 4 gives us diameter. Number 3 is easy. It already gives you the radius. The thing about 3 and 4, they angle those radiuses or the diameters. They angle them at a different angle across from that center circle cut, just to throw you off. But as long as it passes through that little guy, that center, this is your diameter. That means that your radius has to equal 24 divided by 2, which is 12. That's your radius. So simply stating that, 4 pi times 12 squared, that becomes 576 pi. And if you were to use a non-scientific calculator, your answer would be 1808.64 millimeters squared. This would be okay. Lastly, we are working with a hemisphere. And instead of having you figure out the formulas for a hemisphere or thinking out of the box, I guess the notes, they give you the formulas. But that half or that hemisphere really is just half a sphere. So if I wanted to figure out the surface area for half a sphere, or the volume for half a sphere, I've already given you both of these equations. And for both equations, all I need is radius. Number 5, fairly simple, fairly straightforward. You have half a sphere, which is a hemisphere. They give you 5 here. 5 goes from the wall to the center, or the center to the wall. This is your radius. Currently they're asking for volume, so we grab the volume equation, we fill in or substitute our information. This is the scientific. We could let me give you the other one just so you know what it looks like. It would be 261.67 kilometers cubed. That would be just to simply use 3.14. So you turn over the second page. There are some more hemisphere problems. We go into the surface area question. 1 gives you the radius. Number 7 gives you the radius, so you just plug it in. Number 8 gives you the diameter. So you need the radius, but you already know diameter is twice the radius, or the radius is half the diameter, so you just have to do 12.2 divided by 2. That gives you your radius. Now here are the applications used. You're going to have maybe 2 problems out of your homework that you'll have to do just like this. Say for instance you have a cone, an ice cream cone. You know, they typically round off the top. So you have like a hemisphere on top and you have a cone on the bottom. And you'd have to figure out, find the surface. So number 10, in this case, they're asking you to find the surface area of this ice cream cone. I'm calling it an ice cream cone, alright? Shoot me if you will. Alright, so first things first, find the surface area of the cone. If you remember what the formulas are for surface area of a cone, you have these formulas from the previous notes. I know I'm not asking you to store them in a safe deposit box for later, but at least for now, you should have them written down. I would probably make a list of all these formulas. So you have a cone, surface area is equal to pi r squared plus pi r, and then you have your slant height. Okay, so you need 2 things for your cone. You need your radius and you need the slant height. The radius, well, you have your diameter 9, so that means your radius is 4.5. If you divide 9 by 2, that's what it is. And then your slant height, that's right here. This guy right here, that's 13. So you have everything to fill in this equation, which is done for you right here. They proceed to simplify it, and they keep it in terms of pi till the end. Now they're looking at surface area of your hemisphere. So, well, surface area of a hemisphere. So, hemisphere is 3 pi r squared. Well, we just need the radius. Well, the radius, since they're both attached to each other, is the same. The radius is 4.5. Plugged it in. They kept it in terms of pi. They have not solved it yet. So what they want to do is they want to put this guy and this guy, because they're attached together. The problem is, it attaches at this piece right here, this circle. The cone has that base, and the hemisphere has that base. Okay, so we have to get rid of that base. That's what's happening here. You're adding the 2. You add the cone. You add the hemisphere. And then you got to get rid of just 2 areas of a circle. We already know it's 4.5. So 4.5 squared times pi times 2 gives you that guy. Once you process that, you get your answer. Now, what is the answer without a scientific calculator? Well, let's take care of that. 78.5 times 3.14 plus 0.75 times 3.14 minus 4.5 squared. So the answer would be 310.86 meters squared. Roughly. Number 11 is a volume problem. You're taking the volume of a hemisphere up top, you're taking the volume of the cylinder on the bottom. You need to remember the formulas of each. Both of those I've given to you in the previous notes. You just have to look for the volume of a cylinder formula. Both of these only require you to know, well, the volume of the cylinder requires you to know the radius and the height. The hemisphere, just the radius. But since they're attached together, the radius is shared, so you already know they both have the same radius. Alright, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask away. Miss you guys. Alright, till the next one. Pause. I forgot to give you the homework assignment. Haha. Let's look at the homework. Let's see how many problems you want, or you are going to have. Alright, in your homework assignment, I'd like for you to do number 3, number 6, number 8, number 10, number 13, number 14. And if you're feeling really nice, because you want to push yourself, 16. But all I'm asking you is 3, 6, 8, 10, 13, 14. Have a good day.